Royal Rumble 2024. I really enjoyed this show. I'm not going to make you wait to the end to tell you what I thought about the show. I thought it was great. It was an awesome PLE for casual wrestling fans, for your more, I guess, serious wrestling fans, however you want to say it. But I had nothing bad to say about this show, which I don't have anything bad to say about pro wrestling in general, because I just think it's a waste of time. So here we go. Let's run it down. This is what I liked about Royal Rumble 2024. And first off, Michael Cole and Corey Graves, they're out there, they're starting the show, and then Pat McAfee's music hits. And he comes out, and man, he's jamming, he's ready to go. And it was awesome. The fans loved it. I loved it. I'm glad to see him out there. I like it when he's a part of these bigger shows. He does great on commentary. He brings something different, and it's awesome. So, first off, that's great. So, their commentary throughout the whole show was fun. And so now we're going to move on to the actual card. I was a little surprised that the first match was the Women's Royal Rumble. I didn't watch. I mean, whatever. I'm not setting up the card. It's not my decision. But so they got into it just like that. Number one was Natalya. I like that she was number one. She's been a workhorse for WWE for a very long time. Did I think she was going to win it? I don't know. You know, that's why I loved watching this card, why I liked this Royal Rumble, because you just didn't know a whole lot this time. And I really liked that. So Natalya is number one. Number two is the first surprise entrant of Naomi. Naomi's music hits. She comes out, she does her thing, and everybody is just cheering her on. The crowd's in it already. So you've already hit a precedent of this is going to be fun. So here we are, Natalya, Naomi. We get into the Rumble. And then at number five, probably the surprise entrant of the night for me was Jordynne Grace, TNA's women's champion. And I loved that this happened. You can say the forbidden door, all that nonsense, whatever. But this is a kind of a show of two promotions working together. I really hope this can move on and we can see more of this in the future. And I think that's great for wrestling. I think that's great for wrestling fans. I think it's great for the wrestlers themselves. It's getting more eyes on different people. It's great. I see nothing wrong with this, but she is definitely my surprise entrant of the Rumble, of the Royal Rumble, men's and women's. So we're moving on, and her and Bianca Belair have this anything you can do, I can do better kind of spot, which is fun. It's fun to watch, and it's always the what could be stuff of the future. But ends up Belair does this really awesome elimination, and she happens to eliminate Jordynne Grace. And they're both on the apron, and Belair picks her up, hits the KOD on the apron. Jordynne rolls, she gets out on the floor. So it was really good. That to me was probably I don't want to say the elimination of the night, but it's definitely up there. I really enjoyed that spot. I thought it looked good. The crowd was definitely into this. I mean, throughout the whole Women's Royal Rumble, they were in it. Nia Jax comes out. She's your ultimate heel in the Rumble. And you can definitely tell fans are booing her. Everything she does is just kind of heel stuff, right? So she's your big heel. Then Becky Lynch comes out, and you kind of think, okay, well, Becky is the main face at this point. So Becky is going to be the one that puts it to Nia Jax and eliminates Nia Jax. And they keep talking about last year it took 11 women to eliminate Nia Jax, which is pretty important that they kept bringing that up, because then you're kind of like, oh, so whoever eliminates her is probably going to be something. It's going to be something big. It's going to be something huge. And we're kind of at a point where Damage Control has the numbers game. Asuka, Kairi Sane, and Bayley are all in there. They're doing their thing. And ends up Kairi and Asuka get eliminated. So Bayley's kind of on her own at this point. So you have no idea who's really going to win this. And that's what I loved about this Women's Royal Rumble. You didn't know. You had no idea. You didn't even have like two or three women that you thought, oh, it's going to be this one or this one. It was just great watching the show. It kept you guessing. It kept you into it. It was entertaining. The crowd was in it for the whole time. So then at before this, R-Truth comes out. Well, Valhalla comes out. And then R-Truth comes out, and is kind of confused. It's a confusion spot that he does, and it's great. He comes out, he thinks it's the men's rumble. He jumps in the ring and ends up getting eliminated by Nia Jax. And then Valhalla gets in the ring. She ends up getting eliminated by Nia Jax. And it's this whole cool little situation. And I can't express how much I love watching R-Truth segments anymore. He's great. He is what pro wrestling's about, man. And it's so much fun to watch him. So you get past that, and then at number 28, Jade Cargill finally makes her WWE debut. And it's a perfect spot for her to debut. She faces off with Nia Jax. She ends up eliminating Nia Jax. And then you're just watching, she's going up against Becky and everybody else. And these are the matches that can happen fairly soon. Who knows where nobody knows what matches she's going to be a part of in the future, but there's a lot of what ifs in this whole segment. So to see her eliminate Nia Jax, so we're probably going to see that match at some point. I bet we see Nia Jax. I bet we see Jade Cargill and Becky Lynch, Jade Cargill and Bianca Belair. I mean, we're going to see these matches, and they're going to be great. I think there's a bright future for the women's division in the WWE for sure. So let's move on. Number 30, Liv Morgan returns. The fans love it. She comes out. It ends up being Bayley, Liv Morgan, and Jade Cargill are the final three. And then it was a great finish. It was a really good, you just didn't know who was going to do it, who was going to win the Royal Rumble. And Bayley ends up winning. I'm not going to give you all the details and everything. I mean, these are spoilers, but I'm not going to sit here and run it all down. That would take forever. So Bayley wins. I don't mind this. You're going to probably see Bayley, and I would guess Rhea Ripley at WrestleMania. I don't know for sure, because Damage Control, they already have the other women's title, and they have the tag team titles. So seeing Bayley go after Rhea's title would be, I think, logical, but I don't know. Something could happen in between here and there. So the women's Royal Rumble, I'll tell you right now, it was better than the men's Royal Rumble. It was so much fun. It was a great Rumble, from which the women's Rumble hasn't been around long, but every year they're getting progressively better. And this is the best one they have, in my opinion. You may not think that, and that's fine. But going on, the second match was the Fatal 4-Way for the undisputed WWE Universal Championship. I was looking forward to this match. It was Randy Orton, AJ Styles, LA Knight, and Roman Reigns. And there was a cool kind of throwback Slim Jim commercial thrown in there, because it was definitely a callback to when Macho Man used to do the Slim Jim commercials. And now you have LA Knight. So you have the, oh yeah. And now you have LA Knight doing his yeah. So you get through all that. We get to the match, and it was a different start for a Roman Reigns match. Normally it's a little slower. Roman's kind of definitely, I want to say he's going to be the one that kind of takes control of the match, but this was different. They beat up on Roman a little bit. They just LA Knight, AJ Styles, Randy Orton, they beat him down for a good little while. And you watch this. This is Roman's Roman. This is Randy's. I mean, it's not his first match back, but it's definitely a big deal for him to be back in this match, and AJ Styles too. But Randy Orton is so good. Definitely check this match out, and it will just show you. I mean, you really think that Randy Orton's going to win. There's a lot of near falls on Roman Reigns throughout. LA Knight could have won, AJ could have won, Randy definitely could have won. There was a great spot of LA Knight jumps up to superplex AJ Styles off the top rope. I mean, he doesn't even climb the turnbuckle. He just jumps from the mat to the top, and just a beautiful superplex. He's done it many times. I like seeing it every time. There was a great spot where there were RKOs all around, and that was when I thought Randy was going to win it. I thought for sure Randy Orton was going to win it. Solo Sikoa puts on some interference, and then Roman towards the end of the match, Roman spears AJ Styles for the win. Roman retains. It's a great match. I mean, did I think Roman was going to win? I don't know. I'm watching this match. I legit thought Randy Orton was going to come out of this with the title at one point. but I also thought maybe LA Knight could have too. So it was a very fun, very entertaining pro wrestling match. This is my match of the night. So I've already said that the women's rumble was better than the men's rumble. The fatal four way was my match of the night. It's all downhill from here, guys. It's not bad. It's just the first half of this show was so good. And I mean, whatever. It is what it is. And we move on to the United States title with Kevin Owens and Logan Paul. I didn't have a lot of interest in this match. I like watching Kevin Owens, and I think Logan Paul does a great job at being a heel. People kind of don't like him anyway. So this is very easy for him to kind of step into that role, right? And he did. People people just don't like him. But there's a spot where he beat Rey Mysterio because some dude brought some knucks to the ring, and he ended up beating Rey Mysterio that way. They kind of wanted to make that same play. Austin Theory and Grayson Waller come down, and they end up giving Logan Paul the brass knucks, and then KO gets his hands on it and blasts Logan Paul. The ref kind of sees it after he counted the pin and reverses the decision to a disqualification. Logan Paul retains your title. So I mean, it's just kind of a bang bang boom match. It's not the best, but it was good in the sense of you wanted to see Kevin Owens win. I think that it keeps you interested. That story gets to keep going now because of the disqualification. So we'll probably see this match one more time. Whether it's one or two more times, I know at least once we'll probably see this again. Probably something with a stipulation or something like that. It'll probably be really fun. KO does a great job. I absolutely love watching him in pro wrestling. And like I said, Logan Paul is a very hateable heel. So makes sense. So it's not bad. It's not bad at all. Now for the men's Royal Rumble match. This is just me. I don't know. Maybe because the Royal Rumble is a long pay-per-view or PLE. So we're into about 3 hours already at this point. The men's Royal Rumble match comes around, and you can even tell it's not that it was slower than the women's. It just didn't seem like that it just didn't seem as good. I don't know why, but to me, it just didn't seem as good. So 1 and 2 were Jimmy and Jey Uso, which I think is great. I think it's brilliant to have them as 1 and 2. They go at it for a minute. It's not just just pedal to the metal, but it was a good little segment. It was just them two. Number 4 is another great surprise entrant. Andrade comes back. I'm a huge fan of Andrade. I liked him when he was in WWE the first time. I liked it when he was in AEW. I'm glad to see him back. Hopefully we get to see more of him. And, the Royal Rumble is just kind of building stories, I think. And it just didn't seem like it was as fun as the women's Royal Rumble. I don't know how many times I'm going to say that, but it just didn't seem it. Gunther comes out, delivers a lot of chops. He's chopping everybody down. And you almost, that was the feeling when he was in there, like he might win it this year. And just because he was one of the final 2 last year. Everybody I know was thinking CM Punk or Cody Rhodes. But man, how cool would it have been to have Gunther being the Intercontinental Champion, win it, go after one of the big titles. And I think it would have been a cool story. I think it would have been great matches up to that point. But that's just not, it's not in the cards sometimes. But R-Truth comes out for another great R-Truth segment. He comes I can't say enough about him. His segments are so good and so funny. So he comes out and he thinks it's a tag match at this point. So he's hanging on to the corner. He's looking for Dom to tag him in, and Dom finally tags him in and he comes in, and it's great. It's funny. It breaks up I don't want to say monotony, but it gives it a different feel, a different look for a Rumble, and you need it because these things are at least an hour long. So where we've seen so many Rumbles at this point, sometimes it does get repetitive, but it's nice to see something like that. And like I said, R-Truth is fantastic. So it comes down to Cody Rhodes and CM Punk, and it's a long back and forth. It was good. I'm not going to take anything away from it. I think it was fantastic to see. It's something we'll probably see in the future in the form of a match of some kind, but it was a long back and forth, and you really kind of liked the women's match. You didn't know for a fact who was going to win, but it came down to it. Cody dumps out CM Punk, and he has won the Royal Rumble. He's won it twice in a row. I think the last person to do that was Steve Austin, which was like 20 something years ago. I believe that's correct. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I think it was old Stone Cold when he did it. And so yeah, that was the Royal Rumble. I liked the show. I know I didn't have a lot to say about the US title match or the men's Royal Rumble, but I think that's just because the women's Royal Rumble was so good and the Fatal Four Way was so good that it just didn't. It was so good on the front half. It would have taken a lot for the back half of the show to be as good. And but the whole show was great. The men's Rumble was fine. Women's Rumble was great. Fatal Four Way was fantastic. My match of the night. The U.S. title match was good too. So that's it in a nutshell. That's pretty quick. That was the 2024 Royal Rumble. Remember to check out all my stuff on Instagram at Wrestleverse and, of course, YouTube at Wrestleverse.